subtracted one op, added one baffling end. I put a lot of thought about cutting one sensor and putting in one extra essence scatter and possibly removing the essence scatter from the board, but in the end, like adding another baffling end to the board. In the end, I decided not to do it because I wasn't confident in myself enough to think that that was 100% the correct play, but I kind of feel like it is. Maybe not the baffling end. I've been watching a lot of Matt stream, and he's just not been getting paired versus a lot of the red decks, so we're just going to leave the one baffling end for now, and then we'll think about making changes later. But as usual, it is basically my exact same list. I change very, very few cards ever in this list. When I do, it's typically a total overhaul from like when we went to like kind of the foggish builds to the straight control builds. So like we took a fairly large overhaul there. But beyond that, we're just trying to tune to stay ahead of the meta just slightly. I truly believe this deck loses to the token decks that are now in the field though, so and I have no idea how to actually fix that unless we went to hours of the wide hours in the sideboard, and that's something we'll consider in the future. This hand is pretty weak, but versus a blind opponent, I'm willing to gamble with this. Hey JJ, what's up? Really hoping our draw step plus our opt finds us a lot of action. There's a significant number of decks that just drawing 2 approaches can win if you get to the mana. So it all depends on what they play. Obviously, you never want to see them play Mountain or Drown Catacomb in this spot. You want to play... When you keep a hand like this, you're like really hoping to get paired versus tokens or... like a GPG type deck. Mirrors wouldn't even be that bad. You're basically trying to avoid the blue-black decks, the Grixis decks, and the red decks. So it looks like we're paired versus the black-red control deck, which this hand should be a home run versus game 1, but considerably worse post-board matches because they might have lost legacy. Hey, Gunner and Christian, what are up, you guys? So I'd probably keep a land versus what our opponent's doing. In fact, I'll probably get rid of most cards that are not land. I would keep a Glimmer of Genius, but I can't think of any card that I would keep other than land or Glimmer of Genius off the top of my head. It's like, now we're just kind of like playing will we get to the land in time game. And we can upgrade this Field of Rune into an island if we need, which is kind of nice. Strange, I believe we went 3-2, but I will not swear to you about that. I've watched so much of Matt play that it's really hard for me to remember what our exact record was, but I believe we went 3-2. Now this could be a problem. It's actually problematic enough that I don't think I'm going to use the Field of Runes because I don't really want to mill us, which is a huge problem if we don't hit the land. And we don't hit the land. So this is how you lose this match, folks. You wouldn't think it'd be possible to lose this game, but if you miss your land drops, you don't win very often. So now we're on the back foot the entire rest of the game. This disallow will never actually get to be used. He probably has Supreme Will. Like, I would be shocked to win this game from here. I'm pretty shocked to win this game from here. Cast Out has to go to the graveyard because we have to have the land or we just cannot win. Just cannot win if we don't get the land. Can't really cycle this either because this is one turn away from ultimating. This is such a tilt. Matthew Folks. Let me get his name for you. He's streaming right now, but he's not playing tokens. He's playing Reed Duke's green black deck from the Elmo CS. Alright. So like we have to jump through so many hoops right now that it's insane. Yeah, so we have to hit a land. We'll not put that in the graveyard. This is in fact a field of room, but I didn't want to fend my deck from lands just to turn on a disallow. Like getting the 4th land's more important than getting the blue land. Well, if he doesn't have a good follow-up, I guess we still have a chance because we have the settle. But the way he tapped that Chandra on 4, I would just imagine that he has another Chandra. If he has another Chandra, we have no outs. Yeah. Thought he had another Chandra. We do... Well, we're just dead. We have no out. I guess we could settle the attacker into another cast out, maybe? Oh, we need to land. Feels like we can't win. He doesn't have to emblem. He can just tick up twice and kill us. And there's almost a guarantee that he's going to have a post combat threat on top of that. There's like very little chance that he's not going to play a spell with these 3 cards. Or like maybe he's going to tick up and hit a spell, who knows. If he casts a spell, we are definitely in trouble. Do we put that in our graveyard? Nope. Disallowing the Chandra trigger. One of the things that may keep us in the game. So we have 4 cards in our graveyard now. The disallow would be 5. The fielder room could be 6. You gotta play to the outs that we have. Any spell basically kills us, because like if he plays a creature here, his removal spells are no longer dead. Alright. This is the guaranteed flip to search for Azcanta to make sure we have 7 lands. But like, still, obviously a lot of things kill us in this spot. So 100% of the cards go to our graveyard here. That's kind of interesting. So if we play the approach, a creature kills us. If we play the cast out, we can beat most creatures. Can't beat Gearhulk either way. So Gearhulk kills us no matter what. Creature kills us if we play approach. I guess we're going to cast the cast out because the cast out, I think gives us better chances to win the game. It's a good point, Mr. Flame. Maybe we should have just played the approach then? And hoped he didn't draw a creature? Alright, so he drew something that would have maybe likely killed us. Who knows? That would have done at least 5 damage to us, so it's a good chance we would have won had we just went for it. To see what he does with his top card now. He put on top of his library, so whatever it is, it's good. But is it deal 8 damage good? Because we know he doesn't have a counterspell here. Could be another counterspell. Another counterspell doesn't really hurt us though, because that's him not doing the board and we have multiple more tries at it. Alright, so he conceded. That's kind of weird that he conceded from there. What did he leave on top of his deck that he can concede here? That's crazy. Does he know our hand? This seems like a crazy concession, because even if the card he put on top of his deck wasn't any good, after we got to 8, you know, like, say it was, just arbitrarily say it was Shocker Chandra, right? Like, he could have scryed during his upkeep and got rid of it. This is a very suspect scoop. Like, this is a super suspect scoop. Anyway, moving into the sideboard, I like the bindings in matches like this. Actually, like all of these in matches like this. I actually sometimes like the Nezahals. It depends on which build we think they are. Baffling End's only really good versus Glint. Glint's one of the best cards in Standard versus us, but I don't think we can have Glint, or I don't think we can have Baffling End just for Glint. Effort Meltdowns are okay. I don't think they're good enough overall. Generally, I like to cut one Fumigate. The Settles I typically keep because they're good versus both Glorybringers. I think I'm also going to dump these Censors. Censors are less good on the draw, and I've been considering shaving one from the deck overall, so like I kind of want to experiment a lot by taking them out. I don't want to bring in a forward. I don't want to bring in Kitties versus any deck that has Scarab God. I think I'm going to bring in exactly one of these and not both. Just in case he has Lost Legacy, this gives us at least an opportunity to still win the game. I don't really like this card in this match, because they can be bringing in Gifted Everborns and all sorts of things. Like, I don't really like bringing Nezahal in any match that I want Fumigate in, but I do just want the one random one to protect us from potentially, and they could have like Rekindling Phoenix, so I just kind of want the one to give us a little insurance versus a Big Daddy. Big Daddy Lost Legacy. This hand's pretty weak again. Had some interesting opening draws so far today. Still think it's a keep, though. I don't think you're going to discard many hands where you have a bunch of lands. That card's very good, but he led with black. He led with Basic Swamp, which is kind of interesting. What do you do? He put on bottom, so there's a chance that he doesn't have another colored source of land. Oh, double. That's pretty good. And that's our best card, so pretty good for us. So these things go a long way. He's already got a Field of Rune for this, but we have 2 Field of Runes in our deck to try to kill this. He ended up putting on top, so he's going to have a land this turn. Very likely a colored source. Yeah. Don't care about this duress. All of our cards in our hand do roughly the same thing. I think this approach is worthless. So if he's discarding our approach, I feel blessed. Like, I am so happy if he's duressing this approach. Just so happy. I legitimately could not be happier if he takes this approach. Would like to draw one of our 4 cast out / 2 bindings to go ahead and get this before he can flip it. I think that would be kind of important. You know, drawing a bunch of extra cards is kind of high or good, and we have 2 shots at it. Taking approach, I think, gives us a lot of information, though. Alright, you can do it, deck. Cast out. One time. One time for Daddy. Give us that cast out. Or sit here during our upkeep. That works too. To the graveyard you go, friend. Are you a cast out? You're a binding. Do you think this is good enough? That's like 3 cards for him. Like, him getting to draw 3 cards is an absurd number of cards. Wouldn't mind to get one for this guy either. I'm all about stopping these little things from flipping. It literally ramps him a land plus the free cruises. That is so much. Yeah, I don't care about any of my cards. Again. I do not think... I do not like it when people bring in discard spells versus decks like this. Like, all of our cards do roughly the same thing. The only time your discard spells actually matter is when you can get us like Hellbent or whatever. Like I don't care about the Glimmer at all. He put on bottom, so that's fine. Hey James, what's up, man? So I guess our next order of business is find a Field of Rune for his Field of Rune. We'll put a land on top of our library, and we'll put the Glimmer on the bottom. He'll probably get the negate here, but that's fine. We're trying to force him into taking a Fumigate, but we could not. To the graveyard you go, friend. We'll hold the irrigated farmlands. If he plays a discard spell, it's good to have not cycled it, and if he plays anything we need to counterspell, we'll cycle in response. There's the red mana. And we'll cycle end of turn either way. Sweltering in. Well, how beautiful was that? Cast out. I'm going to put it in my graveyard just so I can flip Dascanta. Well, that's a big boy. Now I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I actually have options right now. Is it better to play a search and keep Ascanta up? Or is it better just to slam a 7/7 and go, hello? I think since we can't super protect a 7/7 right now, it's better just to get cards in our hand. The big Dino Daddy. Pretty happy about the big Dino Daddy. We'll take our Glimmer. Any order, it doesn't matter because we're shuffling. We'll grab another blue. And he could like play Scarab or basically anything other than Rekindling Phoenix is pretty good for us here. Don't really care about Chandra. So he still does have answers to Nezzy. It's not what we like to know here. Alright, so those cards go to our graveyard in this spot, but not all of them. Yeah, pieces of puzzle. Okay, are we putting that in our graveyard? Hell no. Yes, we're still flipping you, friend. Hell no. That's both of our bindings. We still have 3 cast outs for Scarabs. Of course, without any creatures in the graveyard, Scarab's not even that threatening. If he taps out here, we'll probably play Glimmer. I don't want to play Glimmer anyway. If I play Glimmer and he counterspells it, it's real bad for us, though. Yeah, he can just have our Glimmer then. We're gonna set on this Ascanta because if he plays Glimmer, or sorry, if he counterspells the Glimmer, that'd just be miserable for us. Alright, well, we don't care about that. We already have answers to those. And quite frankly, that doesn't win a race either. So we can get a Settle the Wreckage, or we can get a Negate. Let's get the one that answers the creature cleanly. Alright, they're done. That seems like a premature scoop as well. They see the Settle the Wreckage and they're instantly done with the game. Whatever. Was our opponent like 0-3 or something? Oh, didn't even say our opponent's record. That's weird. MTG Bot's in here, isn't he? Yeah, MTG Bot's in here. Why didn't it say opponent's record? Apparently, I probably have to go type something to get it to say opponent's record. I'm not sure. But anyway, those matches are actually one of your better matches. It's only bad if they have Lost Legacy, and then it's not even that bad. JJ with the rest in pieces, baby. Hey, sorry that I missed it, Jay Johnston. I highly appreciate the follow, man. I saw this guy playing versus our buddy Matt last night. I forget what he's playing. Keep this hand versus anybody. It's obviously pretty weak, but sensors are so powerful versus almost every deck. I feel like this guy was playing an aggro deck, so like we're gonna have to hit our blues or white sources fairly quickly. Don't do it. No, it's Beaumont. How do we beat Beaumont? How do we beat Beaumont with this hand ever? No, not Beaumont. Like I said, I felt like he was playing an aggro deck last night, but I couldn't remember. We do have a Baffling End, but we have to get a white mana to even get that to work. There you go. Tap 2 mana. Thank you very much. If you'd only tapped 1 mana, we would have been real sad. That's not a white mana. Maybe he will play a 3-drop for our sensor. Sometimes Beaumont Couriers just win games. I think Beaumont Courier and Glint-Steve Siphoner are the 2 best cards in Standard versus me. Maybe we'll get a Essence Scatter, so it's worth going ahead and cycling that when we know we're cycling it anyway. Right on time. Another double white spell. Well, we won last game. So, I'm not saying there's no chance, but there's obviously not a good chance. Uh-oh. It begins. It doesn't really begin. We're taking 7 damage down to 6, and that's if he doesn't have a Hazard. I guess a Hazard can't attack this turn, but you get the general gist of what I was saying. Basic planes, please? Basic planes, please? Wah, 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 wah. Well, we're not dead. We're just basically dead. Got him. Got him. Oy vey. No, not Chandramain. That card's not even good in this format. That card's so bad in this format, in my opinion. Alright, well, we got smashed, so sideboard time. You know, not you big blue thing. Bring in all of these things. We'll bring in all of these things. And we'll bring in this thing. We're going to take out a lot of this slower crap. I think I'm just going to take out Auto Glimmers and bring in a couple of negates too. That doesn't feel very good, does it? Whatever. We're a weird control deck. Let's have some fun. That's the first time tonight that I've ever disallowed a Toolcraft Exemplar trigger. Needless to say, I did not win that game. But did any of us expect us to win that game when we were in that spot? It sounds reasonable. We have a counterspell on 2, a counterspell on 3, and then, like, potentially an Ixalan's Binding. Oh, cool. They didn't have the good 1-drop. Happy days for us. Let's just hit some lands. This is the type of hand that can win. We just have to get to the lands. Unfortunately, we sideboarded out Glimmer, which I'm always hesitant to do. Maybe I should have kept a couple of copies of Glimmer. We can cycle that one at least to try to hit the Landarini. You get nothing. Oh, cool. We didn't need no cycling necessary. Fun times. How badly do I want to try to hit a land? I don't think badly enough. I've compiled an 11-4-1 record over the last 3 Friday Night Magics with Blue-White Approach. Nice, man. What all do you play against at your Friday Night Magics? So anytime you miss a land drop, you're always behind that 8-ball of this deck. It's like really, really hard to win games where you miss land drops. And I know that seems like a blatantly obvious statement, but like this deck in particular does not play well behind on lands. Like, plays worse than most decks, is what I'm trying to say. A lot of decks you get behind on lands, and it's not the end of the world, but this deck is pretty devastating. And we're missing another land drop. Which means now he has the opportunity to play any enchantment removal, or just like resolve a Chandra and potentially win the game off the Chandra. Or he could have literal nothing. We can beat literal nothing. I guess it's just removal spells for things like cats. It's about has to be what it is, right? It basically just has to be lands and removal spells then. Or maybe it was more Hazards. I feel pretty confident if this cat gets to do some scratching. Blue-white or Merfolk. Wow, beating Merfolk's not easy. I guess he's willing to dump his 2 cards in his hand for a random card. That's the only way you'd make this attack. Beating Merfolk is not easy. This is my own list, Murph. All blue-white approach lists are my own list. So it was another Hazard and a land. Oh, why would I look at somebody else's list when it comes to blue-white approach? I'm blue-white approach king. It's probably a good chance to just he should just take negate here. Yeah. Let's say it felt like he should probably just take negate there, because if we resolve the first approach, we're probably winning, you know, like 8 out of 10 games anyway or something. Maybe 7 out of 10 games. Yeah, I guess a lot of approach decks don't run Spell Pierce and stuff in the main deck anymore. The one that had 4 Baffling Ends in the main deck. Yeah, I thought about that deck, and then like I thought about trying some of his stuff, but I really didn't want to. I really didn't want to play the Torrential Gear Hulks. I did add 1 Baffling End to our list today, though, so like that was a new change that we don't always play. Alright, so if he's not using his mana, that means he's got something else. So I'm just not going to settle on this first attack, and I'll try to settle. I'm not sure that I paid attention to the sideboard. The flash blocker? What flash blocker? Yeah, I may not have paid attention to the list well enough. But in general, I would rather have an Effer Meltdown than a Flash Blocker. I know the Flash Blocker can let you draw cards, but it also can like randomly die, and it can't like stop things like Glorybringer and Rekilling Phoenix, which is something that I consider pretty relevant. All right, you got a Toolcraft Exemplar. Hey Ricky, what's up, man? Yep, this is our once a week. This is our once a week approach stream. Just gonna take the damage again. He's just gonna press F6 this time, so he knows that we don't have anything. Yeah, Phoenix was really hard to beat. But yeah, I'm willing to take 4 damage here down to 9. We're just looking for a land. He's in a really bad spot if we ever find a land. I'm going to use this on something. I'm just not sure what. Probably just going to use it on... Pia. Because we can still block the Toolcraft Exemplar for now. And we have the Settled Wreckage for the 2 flyers for whenever he brings them. Red Rover, you know, give us a land. Alright. So this gets rid of the Scry as well, which is nice. Hey, no, what is up, man? The big thing I'm thinking about doing now, I'm thinking about finally shaving down from my 4 sensors and adding more essence scatters to the main. Like, essence scatters seems so good right now. No, not this thing. This thing's so good here. Look how ridiculously good this card is here. Whatever. This card is ridiculous here. Alright, you got me. See if you want to attack now. That's the second time I've disallowed that trigger today. Why? Why? Why do we not have a land? This is turn 13. This is turn 13 and we still don't have our land. In a game state that if we just draw the land, we'll win the game. It's not betrayed us yet. We've not lost yet. You just saw that sick round 1, game 1 that we played. We won a game 1, round 1 where we had no business winning. Oh, God. That's a 2-turn clock, basically. Assuming he draws anything to go with it. Right on time, Mr. Authority. Not a lot, James. We've just gone on to turn 14 and not hit our land yet. And he draws a duress. Nice. So now 1 approach doesn't guaranteed win anymore. Our land doesn't guaranteed win now. It's okay because we're apparently never drawing the land anyway. The turn 14-15 authority of the councils. Those were fun. A lot of things kills us. Chandra kills us. Another Scrap Heap Scrounger kills us. Or I guess they don't. Scrap Heap Scrounger doesn't kill us because it comes into play tap now. Alright. We need to draw a land into an approach. Well, we get to gain 2 life if they play a creature. We get to counterspell the first creature. So, like, we're just trying to fade Chandra now, I guess? We have to counterspell it. We don't have an option. So he can resolve a better creature now if he wants. But, like I said, we don't really have an option. It's about the best land we could draw. This game's insane. He can't play Hazard, so at least that's good. Any creature he plays puts us up to 10 life now. So it gives us more options. There's a cast out. Not bad. Gives us another turn technically. So we know it's 6 cards down now. So we know it's 6 cards down now. Which means we're not going to use Rivulet this turn. It'll be 5 cards down. Alright. So we know we draw Approach during our next turn. Alright, so we managed to win this game probably. Unless, you know, like that last card in his hand's a Lost Legacy or something. Or sorry, the card he draws is a Lost Legacy, rather. I really hope our opponent's not complaining when we didn't draw our 7th land until, like, I'm going to say turn 32, even though that's just hyperbole. Would Pia do it? We gain 4 life when he plays Pia, so I don't think Pia does it. Yeah, I don't think Pia does it. He gets to do like 3 extra damage, so he gets to do like 7, but we gain 4 life when it gets played. Alright, he's hellbent now, so we'll just go ahead and do this. And hope that we didn't miscount, because if we miscount, we're dead. We see an Approach go in our graveyard, we're going to be sad, sweet, no Approach, so we know we win. It was a long time into the game. I mean, we scryed none, so... It's hard to say it's my fault when we literally played 0 scry spells. Apparently our opponent's not done the math to realize it's the top card of our library. Because he could just save the time here, but that's fine. Maybe I'm not supposed to take out Glimmers, but I thought this match would go a lot quicker than it actually goes. Might bring a couple Glimmers back in. Yeah. I guess it's time to bring in Nezahal. So for game 3 on the draw, you bring in your most expensive spells. Get out of here, I'm just joking. Just joking before somebody castrates me. I'd prefer not to be castrated today. Cards that I could consider bringing back in. Maybe I sideboard out my Glimmers too liberally. Liberally? All cards that I can consider bringing in. Definitely not cutting you guys. We saw that he left Unlicensed Disintegration in, so that kind of makes the Regal Caracols worse, and he's a flying deck anyway, but I think they're still good enough. I'm not sold on the disallows. I'm not sold on the negate. These are the cards I'm not sold on. Like maybe some number of them can be sided out or something. Get over there, guys. My voice is high? I have never been accused of having a high voice before in my life. I'm going to at least cut 1 censor. Maybe 1 disallow? I don't know. We disallowed a Toolcraft Exemplar trigger that game, by the way. That was sweet. Kind of just want to bring in this negate. It's so hard to beat him when he has so many spells that are relevant and so many creatures that are relevant. Fumigate's not particularly good in this match. I don't think I want the ops. Hey Darth, what's up, man? I'm just gonna bring in the censor, I guess. Here we go. I kind of really want a 40 on turn 1. Like, a 40's super good at stopping vehicles from being crewed. It's like really good at stopping vehicles from being crewed. Alright, this hand's keepable, but I'm not very happy about it. Might be one of the games that having a Rivulet costs us a lot of damage. He's got best card. That hurts, but at least we have a Baffling End this game. Hopefully we can Baffling End it. There's no guarantee that we even get to Baffling End it, though, because we might have to Baffling End like a Scrounger or something. Being on the draw versus this deck's really hard, because this deck hits a... You know, the red decks and the Mardu decks are just so strong. Pretty much have to cycle this sensor, and I'm not pleased about it. Gotta leave up the old scatter. Might be able to get a P, but we could even get a 2-drop now, or like a Toolcraft Exemplar. We can get basically everything but Hardikirin. And Everspear Harvester, of course. That sucks. I watched a little bit of it. I wasn't particularly interested in it because I'm not a Dan Ward fan, though. Like, this was really, really bad for us. Well, he took an Essence Scatter. Takes an Essence Scatter. Does that mean he's got Hazard on the way? Why do you take Essence Scatter? What do you got, homie? Oh, Essence Scatter anything he plays here. It's a 1-1. Do I want to Essence Scatter a 1-1? I want to say yes, just because I'm tapping out a lot. Like, I'm definitely playing Baffling End this turn, so that means I can't Essence Scatter on the next turn. And we're hopefully going to draw an untapped land to be able to cast out and or binding anything that he resolves here. That's not the end of the world. Now that is the end of the world. Land, please? I don't ask for much. Why is this? Why do I have to miss a land drop every game in the early part of the game? That's tilt AF. Eh? At least we don't care about that card. Cool. Another non-land. Yeah, well, as long as he doesn't have Hazoret, we have a good chance, I guess. As Hazoret, our chances go down considerably. Potentially take 6 down to 6 here. Go back up to 9 if we hit the untapped land. If not, we have to basically just binding this thing. Alright. Say, should only attack with the Thopter here. We'll take the damage if he doesn't pump. Try to bait him into an attack on the following turn. think he only does that if he has another creature or a Chandra. Land? For daddy. Okay, we got a little bit of a cushion. We've got an answer for Hazoret, and we've got an approach in hand. We've got an answer for Chandra too. I do have a lot of practice at that. Unfortunately, I've not got to experience any of it today. That's fine. We don't care a whole lot about that because we have a binding. We care about him hitting a creature or something off of it exactly this turn. And of course he did. Of course he did. The best creature in his deck too at this point because it lets him scry and set up his next draw. Alright, so options. I believe the correct play is here just to approach no matter what. Because next turn we have enough mana to use the Rivulet and the Binding, or if we draw a land we can like Binding and Settle. He bought them both, which was good for us. Beaumont Courier. Beaumont Courier, my friend. Why do you do this? Cast Out's an interesting card. Start with the Cast Out. That was great for us, wasn't it? So what kills us from here? Hazoret does 5, 6, 7, 8. So a Hazoret and a shot kills us. The Chandra only does 2 damage no matter what, so is it better to Binding the Motorist? Trying to decide if we're just going to Binding or use Settle. I think we're just going to use Settle. No. Settle's worse because he can hit... Settle's worse because he can hit Duress and Hazoret. So we have to play the Binding? I think I'm going to target the Veteran Bouldermus because it does... I'm pretty sure it's 100% not, because if he draws Duress, he can actually kill us this turn. This does 3 damage, so I think I'm going to get it. That does 3 damage. So how does he deal 7 damage, or 7 damage more than the board to us? Is the question. I did not say that. I didn't say that word at all, did I? I said motorist. We're not dead to Hazoret anyways. Hazoret did 5, 6 with the Scrounger, 7, 8 with the Chandra. He doesn't have enough mana and or cards to play Hazoret, land, and discard. Alright, so now we mill ourselves, we draw our approach, and we win. Assuming we counted right. But you never know, one of these days I might count that wrong. Alright, so that's 2 pretty close games. I think that was the correct play, though. But he didn't have enough cards to play a land, discard 2, and play a Hazoret, because he had 1 card in hand, and he needed 3 cards for that sequence. So even if he hit, and he needed the damage from Chandra as well, so like say he'd hit a card with the Chandra, then he doesn't deal that 2 damage, so like picking up the 2 damage from the discard doesn't work. Alright, I can't believe we won the sideboarded games, but not game 1. Ugh. Alright, so we got to win 1 out of the next 3 for a pity chest, 3 out of the next 3 to go brag to Matt. I think getting the motorist was right, even though it seemed a little weird. Alright, matchmaking correct, 2v2. Both of us are 2. This hand's good enough to keep, but again, it's just not one of these hands that you really, really like. I'm going to lead with the plains because there's some decks that I would cycle this cast out versus. Like if we see a Drowned Catacomb at all, I'm happy to get rid of this first cast out just to make sure we hit our lands. Same thing as like if I see a basic mountain, I would cycle the cast out from here. We just have to hit our lands versus decks like that. It's kind of a big, weird lag spike. It's a good song. So we're just saying in our mind right now, like no glint softener, no glint softener. All right, so let's approach. We're pretty heavily favored in game 1 versus this deck, but not so much in game 2 and 3. The discard spells from like combo decks are really hard to beat. It's kind of interesting. What can he play on 3 mana that I care about? I'm going to say only Walk the Gate, or Gate to the Afterlife. I'm starting to think instead of a Polly Shore poster that Ricky wants a John Bon Jovi poster for Christmas next year. That's what I'm starting to think. He wants it his way. Oh, no. That's not Bon Jovi at all, by the way. Just want you guys to know that. That was just me making random noises. My specialty. Random noises. By the way, for the 17 of you watching /advertise, it's I got a YouTube channel. Check it out. We'll party like there's no tomorrow. Alright, that hurts. But I am not giving you an extra land right now. I just want to resolve my glimmer and go on about my day. So many times. No! No, 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 no. No, no, no. You stop it. Alright, I just want lands. I don't care what he resolves. Hey, what do you know? Those aren't lands. To the bottom of my library you go. We did it! We hit a land! And we're going to forever regret getting rid of that approach. Forever regret it, I say. I don't mind casting Glimmer that... Oh no, not that! That is the worst case. That was the worst case. Wait, what? You're not getting the 6 this turn. What are you doing, homie? Unless you have double Walking Ballista. I guess then you can get the 6. He does have double Walking Ballista. Alright, I guess we lose then. Play perfect, get punished. I don't know that we played perfect. I'm just talking. So he had to have a second gate and double walk in his hand to make that play bad. He had to hit 3 creatures off the Minister as well. That's definitely just running super bad. You wouldn't play Path in Standard. I'm not sure what you're saying. Let's start with that. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure I have to go ahead and cast Fumigate here. The Path would be really good in Standard. It'd be the card we need to get over to red decks. That was a good one too. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of him making that a 4/3, since a lot of my outs would involve me being able to kill that. Huh. Alright, well, we get another turn. Maybe on another turn we'll be able to draw like land into Settle or something. Maybe I should have played the Search for Azcanta last turn. I actually have the extra land. Yeah, that was a big play mistake. That was actually a pretty big play mistake. If he gets an untapped land, he can just kill us with Walking Ballista. So I don't know what our out is here. I don't think we have one. Neither of these do it. Neither of those do it, and we managed to lose game one due to an unfortunate series of events. I'm absolutely amazed we lost game one. Always bring a couple of 40s into this match because taking off their their haste on their things is like exceptionally good. None of these cards are particularly good. They're both just kind of like playing odd control decks. Take out the Ops, I think. Essence Scatters are still fine because they can just play Scarab God and win a fair game. Unlike the mono red decks, a 40 isn't so good versus these decks that you just auto keep one land and a 40. I will keep 2 land and a Scry though. If we didn't have the Scry, I wouldn't keep this. So like if we were still under the older Mulligan rules, 100% don't keep that. But definitely keeping it, mostly keeping it because of Search for Azcanta. The 40s already feel kind of like Mulligans, but Search for Azcanta is strong enough that you keep hands like this. And now that he's played Duress, I would be shocked to win. Sometimes you just run poorly. It's a pretty good match, though. Like, I wouldn't mind to play it almost every round. There's only one land. We only had one land. And he's hitting a negate that he got rid of. I would hate to see how frightening his hand is if he can dump a negate. So basically we have to rattle off a bunch of lands here and hope he doesn't have counter spells. That doesn't even feel like it's something that's reasonable to do. No, I said we had 2 authorities and they were already like mulligans. Like the authorities aren't going to do much this game. But we mulliganed into a weak hand that we had to keep, and we got duressed on turn 1. So, like, it's part of magic. That's pretty nice. That's the one card that might give us a chance. Nope, why would I? Hey, big old noggin. What's up? Hey, thanks for the follow, Code Source. A little late on it. Another duress. He's drawn 3 duresses in his top 14 cards. We have to keep lands. Don't really want to, but have to. Still kind of just want to put a card in my graveyard. Eh. I wonder if it's ever worth it to use the Rivulet. We get our land back. I don't know if he has Field of Runes, though, so like I don't know if that's worth it overall. I have a suspicion that it's probably fine. Actually, nah. Down to 3 cards in his hand. 2 cards in his hand. Attacking for a lot, though. Does not sound like a positive maneuver. I about couldn't be paid to play a 3-color deck in that format, but what do I know? I'm not very bright. Alright, I'm fine with this now. No, we got rid of 2 bindings. And we went up on land count. He's still got 2 cards in hand. He's not playing anything, though. Can't be good for us. Is he just going to pump the ballista? He's only got 1 creature in his graveyard right now. This will be kind of hard for him to. Kind of want to counterspell that. But our only out's probably hitting Settle anyway, so guess I won't. Hitting Settle and somehow getting it through a counterspell. Step 1. Step 2 is find a white land. That's a white land. It's probably not good enough, but it is our everything at this point. Because when he dumped that negate, he was basically signaling that he had multiple negates in hand. Don't think you would ever do that without multiple negates in your hand. But we have to play to our outs. Our outs may involve us having to cast more than one of these type of spells. Don't think we can wait. A, we might not even hit the land, and B, if we take 5 damage here, that other card gets just too brutal. He doesn't have 6 creatures. He has 1 creature in his graveyard. Or are you talking about a different game? Alright, so we're dead if he goes for it, which he has to go for it. We have no out. Let's go ahead and scoop it up then. Feel like he had another counterspell anyway. Could have made him show us the negate. I don't think every deck will be crap, James. I believe there are some very obviously good decks in that format. He hit like 1,000,000 to 1 shot, but yeah. I did not think he would get 6 creatures in his graveyard. That is right. But we lost to it. It happens. Part of Magic. I definitely think there's some legitimately good decks in that format, James. I think red gets significantly weaker than people would have expected because Beaumont Courier being gone. But since nobody knows what we're talking about, I'll just... Okay. Hey, we're trying to stop somebody from getting a good prize. Never mulliganed a turn 2 search for Azcanta ever. Don't plan on doing it now. Leave it to plain so like maybe he doesn't think blue-white or something. Merfolk, this match is absolutely great versus us. We'll hold up the Essence Scatter, I guess, for a turn. Willing to Essence Scatter just any spell basically he plays. He's showing another Silvergale Adept. Oh god. When his mulligan doesn't even get punished, that's real bad news for us. This match is so hard for us if they have a Spell Pierces in the main deck, and it's pretty hard for us post-board for the same reasons. And they're showing a Mistbind. And they have a land. Everything's coming up Vilm. I guess we can't put that in our graveyard then. We have to keep it since they have a Mistbind. Their mulligan to 5 was ridiculous. decide whether I'm cycling this cast out or not based on if they play anything. Opt in the graveyard. I'm going to say no. We have an extra mana this turn no matter what. I'm going to try to save the cast out for like the Chimera turn, but yep, that's exactly what it is, JJ. What are they tapping 4 mana for? Are they using this? What does that say about them then? Guess they have Spell Pierce? Oh, they just have nothing. So they just have nothing. Okay. It's for basically $800 in prizes spread across the top 3 as well, JJ. Like, it's a pretty big prize pool for somewhere between a 15 and 30 person tournament. When he had the idea, it was before bans, and the idea was to like kind of stop people from playing energy decks. Obviously, that doesn't matter now, but like when he had the idea, that was part of it. Alright. Nope. Won't put that in the graveyard because I can play it and pay for the disallow. Whereas if I played the Fumigate, I could not pay for the disallow. That's the big difference in why I'm keeping that one and not the other one. Just 5-0 with something extra spicy. Let's check this one out. Get the tribute to JJ back up. New perspectives. I don't know if I should even show this deck with people in my chat. My local tournaments. Faith of the Devoted. Man. Look at this guy. Very nice. This deck looks sweet. I've never actually played this deck ever. Oh, they're done. They're tired of me waiting. Because I wanted to use my mana next turn, Ricky, I wanted to be able to settle and disallow. Like, I get to flip the Search for Azcanta no matter what the next turn, because I'm 100% playing settle this turn if he attacks. That deck's sweet. I'm definitely going to save that. I think it loses to red decks probably as well, like maybe little aggro decks, but it's definitely going to crush all of those type of decks. It would beat the crap out of me. I have almost no out to it. All right, so anyway, we're playing versus Sneaky Merfolk. So let's bring in all of these versus the Merfolk Fair. I think Search for Azcanta is immediately bad versus Merfolk. I think Glimmers are probably too slow versus Merfolk. I guess I can move them all out at the end. I think I'm just going to cut the ops. It's an argument that I should keep the, maybe a negate or 2 over disallows. Let's try this. It's pretty damn hard to fizzle with that deck. Nice. Yeah, we're hoping to lock up our PD chest this round. It's a hard match, though. Like Merfolk, all these little aggro decks are hard matches. Vampires are probably the easiest of these little aggro decks, but like Merfolk and red deck wins, the black red deck, the actually the mono black deck's pretty easy too. What else? The red black deck, the black red deck. All of them are kind of problems. Register 74 lands for the tournament, ultra high variance. And you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, well. Deep-Root Elite. Probably the second best Merfolk in their deck. Whatever he plays, that we're going to use the Essence Scatter and just take our 3. Has another Deep-Root Elite. I'd have probably led with it before I did a Silver Gale. I guess that means he's got like a one. I don't know what he's got to go with it, but that's just kind of odd to me. All right, well we got to find another white mana soon. Doesn't have blue mana yet, so that's kind of good. But, like, we basically have to hit our white mana in the next 2 turns to even have a chance. That card's going to be great next turn. I'd like to get a white land next turn to at least scare him. Might put that in his graveyard since he doesn't have blue. If he puts that in his hand, that means this other card's an unclaimed territory. He kept it. That means that has to be a blue land. Alright, well, at least we get to cast a Fumigate. It may not be enough, but we get to cast it. Because we now know it's impossible for him to counterspell this Fumigate. He's just going to put us to 10? Or put us to 1? That doesn't seem good. I guess it's fine. I have to see what he draws now. Kinda just want him to draw another forest. Oh god. Oh god. I feel bad for our opponent. When the cats come to town, nobody has any fun, man. Cat scratch fever! He does get to play his dude now, which is really cool for him. But his dude doesn't really do a whole lot when we slam the other Caracal and attack for 10. I mean, that's a cool card and all. It doesn't have mana, so I'm just going to do this one. Have a double block for that still. You just win next turn if he doesn't draw blue mana. There's nothing he can do about it. Heard about somebody else 5-0ing with new perspectives as well. Yeah, sometimes you just play it. Sometimes you just draw double approach. And so we lost a good match and then we won a bad match. So that's how Magic goes, man. Sometimes you run hot and sometimes you don't. And we've locked up our pity chest and moving into the next round. Would really like to get this 4-1 here to get another trophy. The next trophy locks us up for the Ilmo CS on the 3rd. assuming there's not a paper tournament that I need to go to. What is the 3rd, actually? Hopefully it's a Sunday. No, it's a Saturday. Never lucky. Yeah, so I think after this league, I'm definitely going to cut a sensor and go up to another essence scatter in the main deck, and potentially think about putting maybe a baffling end to the side over this scatter, or maybe cutting these 2 ops and putting a baffling end and a 4th essence scatter in the main, or like maybe 2 more baffling ends. I definitely think I'm going to cut at least a sensor for a scatter though. It's the only thing I've decided for sure. I'm actually starting to get real sick to my stomach. Whatever I ate earlier is not setting very good. I've had 2 pretty miserable days health-wise, but that's okay. By the way, since there's 22 of you lovelies in here tonight, if you're liking what you see, please give us a follow. We stream every day, trying to get 365 plus in a row. We stream almost primarily standard here, a lot of variety of decks. Also, on top of that, there's links down below to my Twitter where you can see every time we go live, all the deck lists we play, random arguments and thoughts I have on things. And you can follow my YouTube down below as well. Following my YouTube is sweet because you can see all of our past broadcasts. On top of seeing all of our past broadcasts, it's cool. Alright, so we have a lot of early interaction, but we have a double 5 drop and we have a settle. I think this is a mulligan, but like, I overrate this card so much that I think it's almost worth keeping. I've thought about putting the 0-4 Ether Thief in the sideboard. I don't know what it's called, the Ether Thief or something. The 0-4 that if you pay 3 energy, you get to draw a card. But if I do that, it almost prices me into wanting to play a couple copies of the Ether Hub, which I don't think is very good. And this guy's name, by the way, has got TV at the end of it, so I wonder if he also streams. But I don't think that card's particularly good right now is the main reason I've stuck away from it. But that's the only energy card I've considered in the sideboard. I think I have to mulligan this. There's just too many opponents that it's bad versus. This hand's pretty bad too, but I think it's good enough to keep. Oh god, this one's kind of interesting. How many decks is this actually bad versus? Probably enough that I'm going to put it on the bottom. Think if I had even one non-pain land or like one plains that I might have kept that. So this looks like it's probably red-green monsters, which is generally a favorable match for us, but I mean, you can see the draw that we have. Like, nothing's a particularly favorable match for us when we have a draw of this nature. Yeah, Shielded Efferthief. There you go. Sorry, I didn't know its whole name. But yeah, that's the one card I've considered. Definitely going to just cycle anything we can, or sorry, counter anything we can. Go on about our day. I'm going to play the Field of Runes here, because if for some reason we can't use the sensor and or don't want to use the disallow, we can always Field of Runes like his Hashtag Oasis or whatever and get our planes for the cast out. But the odds of us using one of these 2 spells are extremely high. So I wouldn't expect us to get to use this Field of Rune play on this turn. Alright, that one's nice. Hopefully he doesn't have a good threat this turn. They do run like typically 4 Abrades, 2 Struggles, 3 Magma Sprays. That's the typical build, so like hopefully he's got some number of those in his hand. Oh wow. Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. He actually didn't have anything else. I'm gonna keep both of these. Feeling good about keeping both of those. Oh gosh. I think I would rather cast out a threat this turn than play to disallow, so. Pornhub. There is no Pornhub command, unfortunately. That'd be a good command for me. um. So do we get our second white mana, or do we cast out the thing that's in play? I think we go ahead and cast out the thing that's in play. Could have tapped my mana slightly better, but whatever. We'll play Bay. We still have Disallow. I assume this is going to be a Dargon, and I assume it's going to get cast out as well. Actually, a Dragon may get disallowed. I think a Dragon gets disallowed because cast out's better with the approach in our hand. Censor definitely to the graveyard. Another disallow, which is kind of where we want to be. It's casting couch. Okay. That one's going too. We can definitely flip to Search for Azcanta now. Go ahead and get our whites. This is a case we don't want to discard whatever we draw. Sears After Dark. You guys don't want to know about my webcamming, man. Essence Scatter to the graveyard. Sure, we're tapping out this turn anyway. Alright, so we're at 18. An opponent gets this attack step and next attack step, and that's it for this game. So it's pretty hard for him to deal 18 damage to us over 2 attack steps. I won't say impossible, because that deck's got like Ronus and like some weird stuff, but I think it's improbable. One of the things people forgot about New Perspectives deck is that Faith of the Voter can literally... It's actually pretty sweet, Kosher. Like I said, I've never played the deck. I'd never actually noticed about that. I'd never thought about that. I definitely have to look into that deck someday. That deck looks sweet. Alright, so we definitely want this. We definitely want this. I believe we want these as well. I believe we want this. I actually think I kind of want authorities in this match. Authority doesn't seem like it would be particularly good here, but they have Glory Bringers. They have Phoenixes that they can bring back post-Fumigate. They have Earthshaker Kenras. And I'm not actually sure what else. Sure, they could have something else. That being said, I don't think I want all of them. I think I want some number of them. So we're probably not bringing in all of these. We'll see what we can take out. This is actually my first time ever playing versus this match. I think I'm going to cut an Essence Scatter. I'm going to cut a Baffling End. I'm going to cut a couple of Ops and a Censor to start with. Probably don't want that, so I probably have to think of, what, 3 more cards? Huh. Effer Meltdowns I think are good here. Maybe the Caracals aren't good enough. I'm cutting Ops in every match. Maybe I can just sideboard Ops out in general. Interesting. It's an interesting thought. Maybe I just don't run Ops anymore. I really do want those cats, though. Maybe I don't want the cats. Glorybringer's really good. Alright, I think I'm just going to submit this. Yeah, I'm just going to submit this. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to try that deck. For some reason, I've just never played it. With as many different decks as I played, it kind of blows my mind that I've never played that deck. We have an Effer Meltdown, which really slows their clock down, and we have double Fumigate. I think this is just good enough to keep, but I don't think it's a great hand. Wonder if I can cut one and approach in this match. They mulligan to 5, so I kind of wish I'd mulligan now. Mulligan to 5 and put on top. That could be good. One of the cool things about these green-red decks is, even when they mulligan a bunch, because they have the 8 Explorer cards, they can often get out of mulligans pretty easily. Like, just like playing a Branch Walker and hitting a land's, like, pretty ridiculously good in those matches. Alright, well, when he didn't play anything on 2, that was pretty good. Now, he has the other green mana, so the phone's ringing at 11:40 at night. You guys are going to have to hold on. I apologize greatly. I have to see who this is. Somebody's calling this late at night. It's probably an emergency. Sorry about that. No, it's definitely not a booty call because it was the home phone, and I give nobody my home phone number. It was an aunt who lives in a different time zone and probably wasn't paying enough attention to realize how late it is here. The old different time zone aunt. Kinda don't want to use this Effer Meltdown right now. Nukes, I live with my grandparents. They have all the old school stuff. I have a cell phone, and I use my cell phone for 100% of my calls. I don't even have a phone in my room. Like, that was the kitchen phone that I went to answer. It's kind of interesting. Feel like I can take another hit here. Wonder what they kept if they scrounged on top and have this many lands. This could just be the Glory Banger. Unfortunately, I have to counterspell this one. Didn't really want to counterspell that. You definitely have a cell phone, don't you, James? I mean, you haven't had a home phone in 3 years. Pretty sure you have a cell phone. Feel like you're fibbing to us. I'm pretty sure you have a cell phone. I want to be able to play my Settled Wreckage next turn. He's only got 2 cards left in hand. We have an Effer Meltdown in case he's got like a Rekindling Phoenix. Chandra's actually a good one. Causes some problems. Oh, and he's got something to go with it? Okay. That one could have been worse. Probably a slight favorite right now, but we have to find one of our cast outs and or Ixalan's bindings. We put on top of his library, so that means it's going to be a creature and he's going to draw a card. Hopefully it's not Glorybringer. Hopefully it's just Rekindling Phoenix. That way we can play the Glimmer. Alright, sweet. So it is just a Rekilling Phoenix. So at least that is a net positive for us. Alright, I don't think I want either of these, but maybe I want the Essence Scatter. I think the Chandra's too much of a threat right now for me. Oh. Well, this game was about to be interesting, and then it's just not. We'll keep that just in case that, I don't know, maybe he plays a black land and makes me discard my other authority. Or, sorry, my other approach. Well, I thought this game was going to be interesting, and then we drew the second approach. Lafnum Helium. That's an interesting sideboard card. That's actually pretty sweet. It's really good in these matches. Even more of a reason that I'm supposed to bring authority in. Alright, so we got the 4-1. He's played his land, so now we know there's nothing he can do. We got the 4-1, which is kind of sweet. So we got our QP for the next Ilmo CS. Sure, we'll put that one in the graveyard. It doesn't matter, we're just casting our dude. But, like, we had all the tools to win this game even without the authorities. Alright. Well, nice little 4-1. Cute little profit on the day. Let's go look at our deck list. Nope, that's not our deck list at all. So, going forward, I really think like Essence Scatter is like really well positioned in this format at the moment. So I definitely think I want to start by making this change. I'm not 100% sure about the Baffling End changes. Like, we've been cutting Opt in every single match, so I think for the next tournament that we play this deck, I'm going to try it without the, for the next tournament, I'm going to try it without the Ops, just, because of how often that we sideboard them out. I think this is the configuration that we'll probably use for our next tournament. Obviously, metas change and things like that, so there's like no guarantee that we won't change other cards. But I believe this is going to be the next build that we try. The full 4 Essence Scatters main. Like, we're just turning more and more into a control deck. Hey, Kosher Sandwich. I apologize if I pronounced that properly. I don't think I mispronounced it, but anyway, I highly thank you for the follow. Why do I have a what? That is not Sean's Lotus. That's my Lotus. I don't have a single of Sean's cards on my account right now. I just opened it in a random treasure chest. All my Power 9 that I have on this account I opened in random treasure chests. There's quite a few of them. I think there's 4 of the Power 9. Yeah, I've got 4 of the Power 9. I don't know. To my knowledge, I don't have anything of Sean's at the moment, though. But anyway, that's going to do it for us tonight. I'm pretty happy that we locked up another QP, so now we can play the next Ilmo CS, I think. Yeah, we locked up the QPs for the Ilmo CS, so we're pretty happy about that. We're pretty wrecked on event tickets at the moment, though, because I bought... Pretty crushed on event tickets because we bought... Where are you at, Deck? We bought these. We bought 7 sets of this to redeem. That'll crush some tickets for you. Why haven't I sold it? I just don't sell anything, Ricky. I'm a pack rat, man. It's not worth much. God, I wish it was worth that. If it was worth that, James, I would take us all to a steak dinner, I assure you, because it would be sold. Anyway, so we're probably going to just host Matt. I don't know that he's still on. I have to go look, but I'm pretty sure that he'll be on, and we're going to probably host him. I think he's still playing Reduke's deck if he is on. Yeah, he's still on. He's still playing Reduke's deck, so we're going to give old Matt the host. He's playing Standard. Aaron Burchett's playing Hadama's Climb list, if anybody cares. Sparrow's Rum's playing Commander. and Aberdasher's playing, it looks like Legacy Lands. So that's all people that you can consider going and watching if you want. Caleb's playing some random modern deck. Looks like it's Jund. But I'm going to go watch Matt because I'm really interested. We bought 7 sets of Rivals to redeem. This is my money-making scheme. Generally make somewhere between $25 and $40 net profit after fees and shipping on eBay. If you can afford to buy enough to where you can get direct from TCG Player, you can make a lot more. But like, see, it's just better than making ticks because like when you sell ticks, you're usually losing 5%. You're usually selling for like 95 cents on the dollar. So when you redeem like this, you generally make money. So it costs me $25 cash plus, you know, the $3 depending on how many sets I order at a time. So like say I order 8 sets, I bought in for like 58 tickets plus 25 like 58 tickets plus like 25 on the shoot, what am I trying to say? Plus 25 on the buy, so I'm like 83 tickets in and I'll get like 115 out. So like I'm making more than $1 on each one. It just seems like a better thing to do. And I need some of the cards for a personal collection. Well, Ricky, we can't even redeem them to the 20th, so it'll be a long time. This is... Wait. Yeah, this is the day that the earliest day you can redeem is on the 20th. So they probably won't even show up until somewhere in like the 5th or the 6th. Maybe the 2nd or the 3rd if I'm lucky, but probably somewhere in like this range of the first week of March. Probably somewhere in there. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, sorry for babbling. I know you guys don't want to hear all that. Go check out Matt. He's a good guy. He's a good player. And he's testing the deck that Paul Rizzo and Reed Duke, both top 16 the Elmo CS with. Thank you guys for all doing the follows and stuff like that. But take care, everybody. We are out of here.